It's a really sad end, but it's the only end available for this route. But there is a bit more. Sorry for ruining the immersion. I hear a creaking sound. It's the old, heavy, rusted door of the shed opening. Light pours in through the crack in the door. It's enough to wake me up. Oh, wow, you were a non-character for the past 10, 15 videos. I don't even need to look to know who's approaching. It must be that time already. I take a deep breath and open my eyes. See that. Morning, Sakura. Thanks for waking me up. Got it. So how come you came all the way out here to wake me up? Then I remember. That's right. It is a special day. Sakura, I don't think I have any doubts, but Fujini's not here yet, right? I knew it. If Ilia's here, then that can only mean one thing. Crap. Sorry, Sakura, but I need to take care of breakfast. I need you to take care of breakfast for me. I have to go and wake Fujini up. Luckily, I was up late last night, so I'm still in my work clothes. I'm glad I don't need to change that up. I'll be back in 10 minutes. You're in charge of the house until now. Yeah, I just woke up. I'm gonna wake Fujini up, so go help Sakura with breakfast. I pat Ilia on the shoulder and head to the front entrance. Ilia fumes at Sakura as she stomps over to the ship. This sort of thing is hardly unusual anymore. Ilia said that she isn't going to return to her home country, so I talked to Fujini about taking her. She was vehemently opposed to suggest she'd taken Ilia to her house. Since then, Ilia has been staying at the Fujimura house, and of course she's been coming over with Fujini mornings and nights. It goes without saying that they're coming for breakfast and dinner. The two have been living together for 2 months now, and they're practically joined at the hip. When I pass near the ship hole, I hear Sakura and Ilia talking. Ilia's pretty blunt, so I thought she wouldn't get along with Sakura, but that doesn't seem to be the case. They're like an odd couple. Ilia's energetic while Sakura's more laid back. It seems they get along in spite of the differences. In fact, Sakura's regained her usual cheer thanks to Ilia. Ever since Sakura's older brother Shinji disappeared and was listed as missing, she stopped smiling. She must have sensed that he had something to do with the mask home incident at school. Fretting over Shinji, Sakura shut herself in. It was Ilia who forced her to get over it, and Sakura's her normal, cheerful self whenever she's with Ilia. Yep, Sakura's smiling again. I truly am happy about that. Sakura's missed herself when she's smiling, that gentle smile of hers. Fujini is in tears as she shuffles breakfast into her mouth.
タイガを待ってたら私まで遅れるし、給金分は義理を果たしたわ。あれ以上の働きを要求するなら、臨時じゃなくて基本給をアップさせることね。
私だけじゃなくおじい様からももらってるくせに、どうしてこの子は主戦度なのかしら。若い頃からお金にうるさいと周りの子に嫌われちゃうぞ。
嫌われて結構よ。好きな人以外なら何を思われても関係ないもの。それよりタイガ、貸したお金ちゃんと返してよね。給料日5日前だったんでしょ。
なんでそんなこと知ってるのよあなた。
タイガに聞いたわ。お望みなら明細まで話してあげてよ。
Ilia grins wryly. Unlike her more friendly relationship with Sakura, Ilia and Taiga are practically cats and dogs. Ilia gets really mean with Fujini. Even her smile reminds me of certain someone's.
返済は明日までね。できなかったらタイガのお小遣いから引いていくから。
おじい様、そんなことまであなたに話したの？
お昼はずっと一緒だもん。タイガね、 タイガより可愛いって褒めてくれたわ。
What's funny about this is Ilya is like 5 years younger than Taiga. Only 5.
どうしてくれるのよシロ。この子とんだ悪魔っ子じゃない。このままじゃ藤村組が乗っ取られるわ。
The Einspur and Yakuza family. But more importantly, why does a grown man supposed to get an allowance from a grandfather?
いってらっしゃいシロ。今日は早いんでしょ。ならここで待ってるからすぐに帰ってきてね。
Yep, I'll try. Take care of the house, Ilya.
いっそのことここの子になっちゃえバカ。
Fujini sulks as she hides behind my back.
はいはい、タイガも気を引き締めなさいよね。外でシロに迷惑かけちゃダメなんだから。
Ilya shrugs off Taiga's comment. Looks like Fujini isn't really in a position to push back against Ilya.
じゃあ先に行ってるけどのんびり歩いて遅刻しちゃダメよシロ。
Fujini lets out an engine roar and disappears like a speeding bullet. She got her driver's license last month. Since then, she's been late for school, a lot less often, but now she has a new nickname, Rocket Tiger, or Rocket Diver. She's the only one who doesn't know about it. Huh. Stretch and take a deep breath. Sakura already left for school. She ate a pretty big bowl of rice this morning, so she must be pretty driven today. Today is a big day for the Kyudo Club. Now that she's the vice captain, Sakura must be really determined and enthusiastic today. Alright, I should go to school too. Today is April 7th. Schools are starting the new school year, and the new season has gone from the cold of winter to spring. It's been 2 months. I feel like a lot has changed since she left, but the changes all seem minor. Winter's over and it's finally spring. It's the only thing that's changed. I might have grown and matured, but I'm not a different person or anything, so not that much has changed. Emiya Shooter is still clumsily stumbling along the kid Atsuga's footsteps.
おはようエミヤくん。朝から顔を合わせるなんて奇遇ね。
Hey there, nice weather we have today, Tasaka. I wave in greeting. This is really a coincidence. We run into each other almost every day. Also, we never ran into each other that often before.
出くわすってあなたね。
Tasaka narrows her eyes and glares at me, unhappy about how I phrased it. I don't think getting angry so early in the morning is good for you. Tasaka, did you start leaving your house early? You always arrived later. You're never early or late to school.
そんなことないわよ。今まで顔を合わせなかったのは偶然でしょ。知ってる？エミヤくんと私の家、きっかり正反対の位置にあるの。だから普通に起きて普通に坂を降りれば、ここで顔を合わせるのは当然ってわけ。
Huh. That's news to me. Then I guess that's not so surprising. Wait a minute. That's only possible if our daily schedules are the same. Tasaka to reach this intersection at this hour, she'd have to wake up at 6 in the morning. But that's... Tasaka, you must be exhausted. I was coming right on.
何よその言い分。私は眠くもないし、無理もしてないわ。なんだってそんなこと聞くわけ？あなた。
Because you're not a morning person. If you go to school while you're half asleep, your goody two-shoes friend Mike Claps, you'd be a goner if you fell asleep in class. If someone woke you up, you'd go berserk and they'd see your true, terrifying face. Like, who dares disturb my slumber kind of terror.
そんなことしないわよ。たかだか30分の早起きで不覚なんて取るものですか。
Oh, so you did wake up earlier than usual.
もう人の起床時間なんてどうでもいいでしょ。つまんない詮索をしてる暇があるならさっさと学校に行きなさい。
Tasaka huffs and looks away. She has a point, so I'm going to let this go and just resume our walk to school. We walk up the hill. The townscape below is bloomed into a springtime scene. The breeze is pleasant, and the leaves of the cherry blossom tree planted near school dance on the wind from time to time. It makes me smile.
何？今週はほとんどバイトなの？まあエミヤくんの時間だから文句はないけど、そんなんで体壊さない？
No, I got a day off today. I heard the Kyudo was club holding a welcome party for the new members, so I figured I'd bring Ilya to hang out.
なんかさりげにすごい度胸してるわよね、あなたって。平気な顔してイリアを学校に連れて行くあたり大物だわ。
Is that bad? Ilya seemed bored, so I thought this would be a good distraction.
まずいわよ。 まずいけど、そういうことなら私もお邪魔しようかな。イリアがいるなら退屈しないし、何より危なっかしくって放っておけない。
I'm grateful to hear her say that. Sokka understands Ilya much better than Sakura or I do. It's not just that she periodically checks in on Ilya's health. Sokka and Ilya are both proper mages. Ilya still doesn't fully understand she needs to hide the fact that she's a mage, so Sokka's been a great mentor for her in that regard. So things are starting to settle into their respective places. The new priest that Trit's dispatched has already repaired most of the damage from the Holy Grail War, and we've more or less gone back into our ordinary lives. There are things lost that we can never get back, yes, but the wounds are slowly healing, and I should be glad to know that some of the regrets I felt before are slowly fading.
けど、意外だったな。
Sokka mutters under her breath. She looks down at the town, her tone serious. It was unexpected.
うん。私、シロはもっと落ち込むと思ってた。しばらくは立ち直れないだろうなって思ってたのよ。
Only it takes years. She's talking about the girl who's not with me now. It's been 2 months, and this is the first time we brought up the golden haircut. I don't think I'll be able to recover from it either. I'm scarring out of my mind just thinking about what might happen after.
けど、蓋を開けてみれば、シロったら今まで通りだったでしょ。落ち込むどころの話じゃなくて、次の日にはもうケロリとしてた。その時にね、こいつ大丈夫かなとも思ったのよ。うまく言えないんだけど、次の日にはあっさり事故で死んじゃうような雰囲気だった。
Freaking what? How does me seeming fine end with me dead?
そういうこともあるの。人間ってのはね、何かの手違いで一生涯の目標を叶えちゃうと、それでぽっくりいくものなのよ。もう生きるのはいいやと思った途端、赤信号なのに車が突っ込んできたり、あっさりと階段から落ちたりするんだから。
Huh. That's a little hard to get my head around. I guess she's talking about dying after living a full life or resting in peace, maybe.
だから私はそれが心配だった。ああいう時はね、いっそ派手に落ち込んでくれた方が周りは安心するものなの。
Would you have comforted me if I got all depressed?
まさか。背中に蹴り入れて1日で立ち直らせてやったわよ。それができなくて残念だって話。
So I've been recording for 2 hours. I needed to stretch. She turns away displeased. It's so funny, I can't help bursting into laughter.
何よ、おかしい？
No, your tough as nails line was just so you. It was a relief. We continue walking, enjoying the spring sunshine. The hilly road is long and it looks as if it continues into the endless blue sky. Then she brings something else up, surprisingly casually.
じゃあもう未練はないんだ。セイバーがいなくなってもさ。
Her eyes are on the sky as she speaks. Yeah, I don't have any regrets. Probably. I'm not trying to put up a front. I even surprised myself with how at peace I sound. Nothing was left unsaid, so I don't regret anything. Everything went into the moment we said goodbye. What I wanted to do, what she dreamed. Maybe we were both stubborn. Maybe I really should have grabbed her hand and made her dream come true. But there's something we both felt was beautiful, and we both desperately tried to protect it until the very end. I have no regrets. I should properly ended her time. I can't let myself be stuck in these memories forever.
ほー、シローの中では決着をつけたってことね。だから落ち込むこともなく、思い出に浸ることもないってわけ。
Yeah, but I still dream about her. I'm gonna remember her for the rest of my life. One day my memories of her will fade and I'll forget her voice and her mannerisms, but still, I'll never forget what happened or that I loved her. Chisaka doesn't say a thing, but for some reason she looks elated. She's practically skipping now. What's going on, Chisaka? What's the rush? Did something happen?
別に、ただ早く学校に着きたいなって。さあ、そういうわけだからシローも急ぐ。のんびりしてると置いてくわよ。
She turns around and starts to run up the hill. What the hell? Why would she push herself when she's not a morning person? I grumble, then sling my bag onto my shoulder and run to catch up. It's only 7:30 in the morning. It's too early for students who aren't involved in any club activities, but I guess there's nothing wrong with getting to school early. I run up the hilly road that seems to stretch into the sky, and I reach the school earlier than usual. Today is the first day of the school year. If I want to celebrate, I need to shake off old memories. Remnants of my memory will never go away, but I still need to go on, even if the emptiness in my heart makes me cry. The blue sky is off in the distance. It feels so close, but even if I reached it, I would never grasp it. I've looked to the stars before. There are unreachable stars and unfulfilled wishes. Nothing of ours remains behind, so someday my memories of her, even in the image of her face, will disappear. And yet, even if I can't reach her, something will remain in our hearts. There may be nothing physical left, but we both shared time together and looked up at the same things. If I can remember that, I can believe that we're still together, even across such a great distance. Some things are bound to disappear, but others never will. So I'm going to keep running. If I push far enough, I might one day reach what I was aiming for. The new beginnings of spring, after the end of a harsh winter. I head up the hill under the same blue sky she looked up and saw. The battle is over. This is her final battlefield, the battle that split her country in half and ended with the king's victory. The knight runs to her. The battle is over. The blood-red sunset has faded, and now the darkness of night covers the battlefield. The hill is littered with corpses and curses. All that resentment tries to drag the survivors down with it. Through it all, the knight runs breathless. He grips his horse's reins as the wounded white steed does its best to keep up. The knight and the white horse are the only survivors. Draped over the horse's back is the wounded king.
Oh, Asao, こちらに.
The knight must be wounded himself, but he runs with all his might. The king he serves is on the verge of death. Even after defeating the rival king in single combat, his king sustained a fatal wound. The knight knows there is no hope here. His king will die.
お気を確かに。あの森までたどり着けば必ず。
He calls desperately to his king, or perhaps the knight truly believes that his king is immortal. So long as they have the guidance of the sacred sword, the king will never perish. With labored breathing, the knight crosses in the mountain of corpses and heads to a forest that has not yet been stained in blood. He knows his king's immortality, so he believes that if he can only escape this cursed battlefield and lead the king somewhere pure, the king's wounds will be healed. Rather, he hopes. Unlike the other knights, he always believed in his king. The king had always been isolated in court, shunned by the knights, feared by the people. But the knight was proud of the young king, who never revealed any personal feelings, no matter the situation, and always remained idealistic. The knight did not serve his country, and that is why he entrusted his sword to his king, strove to aid his king, and rose to the position of the king's personal guard despite his young age. The king whose true face can never be seen. The boy tried to be fair and selfless, and did not allow his personal feelings to interfere with his duties. Rather, he hoped that if he could someday get close enough, he could see his king's real face. That is his greatest desire. He wants so much to see his king's true face, not the stern countenance the king bore on the battlefield, but his king's true face, a smiling, laughing, human face. That moment would surely come in court when the king is relieved of all duty. Even the most perfect king cannot be on edge all the time. The knight was proved wrong, but he learned he defied his expectations. He reached the rank of imperial guard and stood guard at the king's side. He guarded the king more closely than any knight and always observed the king's behavior. But that moment he wished for never came. His king never saw it. Why does that make him so angry? The king should radiate glory, having achieved such success, but never once did the king seem at ease, even for a moment. He couldn't stand it. He wanted to believe this shouldn't happen. So he wished for his king to be rewarded with light. That is yet to be accomplished. The king still remains solitary, and so this knight refuses to accept his king's death. It cannot end here. If it does, this great king will never be rewarded.
お、今はこちらに。すぐに兵を呼んでまいります。
Once they reach the forest, the knight leads the king's body against the large tree. It is a race against time. Even riding hard on horseback will take half a day to bring back the troops they left at the harbor. And even the king now knows that the king will not last until
どう
dawn.
か、それまで辛抱を。必ず兵を連れて戻ります。
The knight bows to his half-conscious king and returns to his white
ベ
steed.
リビエール
Before he can leave, the king he thought unconscious calls out to him.
おう、意識が戻られましたか。
少し夢を見ていた。
The king's voice is faint, but there's a warmth in it.
夢ですか？
The knight's voice is imploring. The king's life is balanced on the tip of a blade. The darkness will surely take his king if the knight does not respond.
そうだ。あまり見たことがないのでな。
それは。では、どうぞお気遣いなくお休みください。私はその間に兵を。
A faint gasp. The knight's words must have made
Oh.
unexpected.
何かご無礼な点でも。
いや、そなたの言い分に驚いた。夢とは目を覚ました後でも見れるものなのか。違う夢ではなく、目をつむればまた同じものが現れると。
Now it's the knight's turn to be surprised. For a moment he is at a loss for words, and at length he responds, though he knows there is no truth to what he says.
はい。強く思えば、同じ夢を見続けることもできるでしょう。私にも経験があります。
It's not possible. A dream is a fleeting thing, not something to return to. Even so, the knight lies to his king. This is the first and last time he will do such a thing.
そうか。そなたは博識だな、ベリビエール。
The king's soft voice is admirable. The king's head remains tilted down, not looking up at the knight. The king breathes so softly that it can be barely audible.
ベリビエール、我が命権を持て。
The knight receives his king's final order.
よいか。この森を抜け、あの血塗られた丘を越えるのだ。その先には深い湖がある。
おお、それは。
The knight knows what that means. The sword in the lake. The relinquish the sword that had protected the king, served as proof of kingship, would mean the end of his king.
行くのだ。ことを成し得たのならばここに戻り、そなたが見たことを伝えてほしい。
The king does not take back orders. The knight takes the sacred sword and goes over the hill, his indecision weighing heavily on him. And so, 3 times the knight hesitates to follow his king's command. The lake looms in front of him, but he cannot throw the sword away. Doing so means his king will disappear. The knight's unwillingness to part with his king stays his hand, and so he returns to his king. Once the king meets again, the king orders him to throw the sword into the lake. When the knight lies and claims he throws the sword into the lake, his order, his king's spirit responds, "Do as I commanded you." To defy the king's order is a great sin for a knight, but he has already done so. Each time he stands before the lake, he has faced the thought of losing his king. No more. When the knight realizes he cannot alter his king's decision, on his 3rd visit, he hurls the sword into the lake. The sacred sword returns to the lake. White hand emerges from the water and catches the blade, and the sacred sword vanishes from the world. And the knight finally accepted the end of his king. The responsibilities that had so long burdened the night fam finally come to an end. By the 3rd time he crosses the hill, the first rays of morning light touch the forest. The ruins of a battlefield not distant. There is no trace of the bloody battle, only a thin haze covers the hill.
湖に剣を投げ入れてまいりました。剣は湖の夫人の手に。確かに。
At the knight's words, the king's eyes open.
そうか。ならば胸を張るがよい。そなたはそなたの王の命を守ったのだ。
The knight gives a silent nod to that voice, knowing the speaker is on the brink of death. It's all over. Turmoil will continue to grip the nation. The wars will not end. The day of ruin will come soon. But the king's battle is over, because she fulfilled her role to the very end. The light fades, with everything done. The last of the strength that kept her going is spent.
すまないな、ベリビエール。今度の眠りは少し長く。
She closes her eyes, slowly as if going to sleep. The morning light spills through the treetops. As the king drifts to her eternal rest, a hush falls over the forest. The knight continues his vigil over the fallen king, the king he wished for, the solitary king attended by only a single knight. And he finally sees the look of hopeful eye in the king's face, a peaceful sleep. In her last moments, the king finally finds the peace that had so long eluded her. The knight is overjoyed. The knight thanks whoever gave his king such comfort and watches the king with a sense of pride. The heavens are distant and the clear sky is blue. The battle is truly over.
見ているのですか、朝を。
His words ride the wind. The sleeping king appears to sink into the endless evening.
続きを。
A distant dream takes her. That's the end of this route. There are 2 more, which I will start shortly after the final video goes up for this one. But I just want to get through the credits real quick and show off a few things, because I do have a plan. I have an idea for what I want to do. I want fun stuff, grand order stuff. Oh, voice actor. I was voice acting him the entire time, but alright, sure. That's 7 voice actors to voice 1 dude. That was a lot. I recorded that battle and the epilogue in a single session. I'm putting it up as 2 videos, so it's gonna be like a week wait between the first and the second half. The first half will be like an hour and a half, and the second will be 40 minutes. Thank you, Type Moon, for this wonderful, wonderful visual novel. But that is not the end. Finn. And I was having such a serious moment to it when I just see Finn. A new route has been unlocked. Saber ending. Yes. Okay. Few things. No, that's options. I don't know why I just said it's not options, but flowchart. You see how all these like paths here that are or like these scenes here that are not unlocked. I'm gonna be doing a video or maybe 2 videos, depending on how many there are, dedicated to showcasing these off as sort of like a non-canon, here's what we missed out bit. And just, well, that's the idea anyway. With that being said, there's another thing I want to look at, which is that I'm missing a Tiger Dojo, which is a Tiger Dojo that is a thing I'm gonna have to do with the alternate paths in the Fate route, because it's only available if Saber has below 6 points. Is that the first one? No, okay. Yeah, no, this is the first one. Back, so, yes. That, I'd already done that, but I just didn't show it on video because I forgot, and I thought it was a new one, but it wasn't. Anyway, so, with that, I will end this video off here, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.